Okay, today's guest, or actually, let's start. Today's date is August 4th, 2022, and today's guest is Sensei Lou Roentgen. Sensei, please state your name and rank.
Your name and rank, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, we got to get the official coming from you.
yes, Paul Lewis Roentgen, and 8th degree.
8th degree, okay. How many years have you been involved with martial arts, Sensei Lou?
Well, since, wow, you don't have to add for me.
Just give us a
I
year.
got my black belt in 68.
You got your black belt in 68.
So I trained 2 years before I got that. I was one of those short black belts for Sensei.
That's 54
Oh,
years.
sorry, 66.
66? 44, 66 years. Wow. Yeah. And what is your martial arts background?
Let's repeat it.
Your background, your martial arts background, other than Shintani Karate Federation, did you do anything?
Yeah, I was head of the WADO in South Africa. You want me just to say?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And member of the South African Black Belt Hall of Fame. Run the organization there for 12 years. So I returned to Canada. I never got graded again until I got back. So I remained a Nidan for all that time. And when I got back, called Sensei, had a chat, and then he called me back. He says, "You want to meet for lunch?" I says, "That'll be nice, Sensei." And he presented me with my 5th degree. But the important times with Sensei was all prior to my return to South Africa.
Okay.
Because then we were sort of joined at the hip. Wherever Sensei went, I went. We did so many things together besides our training. You would pop off and arrive at the house. He says, "What are you doing today?" "Oh, nothing, Sensei. Come into the house." He says, "Okay." And you would greet the wife, "Hello, Monica." Greet my kids individually. "Hi, Kelly. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Denver." Never hello all, everybody. Always greeted everybody individually. And that's who Sensei was. I think he drove a blue Meteor, forget what year it was.
He always had a big old car. He had a
Yeah.
Montcalm there for a while too,
And we'd jump in and head off to Toronto, go to Kitchemora's club. That's where Dave Monero came out of. Plus a few of his other students. The names don't come to me right now, but Sensei and Kitchemora were very hooked up. They were good friends. And we had our lunch after the buffet in Toronto. The usual thing, but we spent a lot of time together as not only as Sensei and student, but as friends. Because we came to know each other that way. Because we spoke to each other like friends if we got into martial arts. Well, Sensei was the authority. And that was basically the way we hooked up at the hip. When it came to training, Sensei was the man. That's all. I enjoyed my training. Every training session was a sweat session. I really mean a sweat session. I remember some of the names at Grimsby. Brad Cosby was one. And a few others. Brad remembers the names better than I. Dominic Sincero. Then a few years later, Sensei Ishiguro came over. The little man he was. Hated fighting him. Because if you kicked him, he used to go sliding along the floor. He was so small. But you have to say, "Oh, apologies, Sensei, sorry." My experiences with Sensei are many. Some of the best were training at, he had these Japanese gardens at Confederation Park. There used to be the regular four: Rick and Dave Beatty, Rick Joslin, and myself, plus Sensei. We'd go in one corner and there we would sweat and work. Sensei give us something to do, and he'd keep picking up boulders and making these Japanese gardens. Those people used to come in and visit and walk around, and here's four guys in the corner training. Hey, part of the Japanese culture.
Absolutely.
So that's just basically our life together with Sensei. We traveled all over the place. The board back then wasn't very big. Couple of guys, myself, Sensei, Ishiguro, and we used to just discuss the local things, because we had the club in Fort Erie, and lots of guys were up north, but we never went up there. And Niagara Falls, YMCA, and like I say, the clubs were very far few between in those days. But on a personal note with Sensei, it became very difficult to understand his nature, which I did. He could hide his anger very well, but if he let it go, get out of the way. But it was short-lived. He never was angry for long, because his personal self-control was excellent. And his anger moments were, I saw him angry maybe twice, 3 times at the most. Our relationship, well, Sensei pulled tricks on me. He had a way of doing things with students to get the best out of them. I come to realize that years later. He came and looked at me. He says, "How long is your leg?" "Oh, 29 inches, Sensei." I says, "You'll never throw a head side kick or head mawashi." And he'd turn away and walk away. And you'd go, "Really?" So I went home, put up the straps, the pulley cords, and all the goodies. By the time I got to brown belt, I said, "Sensei, I want to show you something." And I stood there and I went, "Shoot!" He says, "Nothing." Turned around and smiled. Strategy,
Mission accomplished.
mission accomplished.
Yeah.
A long time. When I was in my 70s, people, because of Sensei, used to say, "Sensei, show us that sidekick." And I'd go, "Shoot!" And say, "How old are you?" Still, while we're doing it slow and I throw punches, but it's all because Sensei, when he sees somebody has that, what do you call
Ability.
it? Ability, or it's more than that even. Your ability to have that speed and power, you could recognize it way before you even became a yellow belt. And unfortunately, I developed the same ability, because I'd walk down the line and kids were throwing punches, and I'd say to myself, "Yep, no, no, yep." You could see the people that had that inner core, the chi. When they threw a punch, it was coming out, and it was coming out quick. Matter of training and developing the system of throwing the technique. Whenever we went to a demonstration, Sensei said, "Sensei Lou," I said, "Oh, God, here we go again." Because he used to burn my skin. Never leave bruises, you just burn me. Oof. Okay, Sensei, thank you. Well, you know how he was, Bruce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You
Oh,
bring back lots of memories, Sensei Lou.
I never had, even when I came back, even though I let Sensei down in the sense we never had bad words, ever. And our relationship developed eventually over the years back to where it was. And he said to me, he gave me a very highly regarded comment. He says, Lou, whatever you want to do it. I don't mind, that's good. And I said, Sensei, why do you say that? He says, because over the many years I've known you, I've come to know you as a martial art person and as a person. And I know because you're truthful, you will tell it as it is, and you'll be able to do it. So whatever you do is fine with me. I said, wow. That to me, one of the greatest compliments ever since I ever paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's placing total trust in you. I had an incident. Everybody had trouble with a certain martial artist. His name was
Okay, we don't have to mention his name.
I said, I want to grade this person. Sensei, he says, that's fine. What was it? Then I get a phone call. It's your problem. You look after him. I'll look after him. I said, oh, that's fine. So I graded the man. But that's how Sensei, when he gets to know you, and he places his trust in you, and you can rely on you to be a truthful and straightforward person. He's an open book to you. Totally. Because Sensei's whole ambition in life was to write a book. I don't know if you ever mentioned.
Yep.
A book on truth. He never accomplished it. He started it. Nobody knows. It's all he wanted to write is his book on being truthful. Not faithful or dedicated, just being a truthful person. And when Sensei gives you that compliment of being a truthful person, you can take it and you can gift wrap it and put it away somewhere. Because it's the greatest compliment you can get. And so I achieved much through Sensei's wisdom, his sometimes lack of communication. You had to understand why he didn't say something or why he did say something. And a lot of people, unfortunately, didn't get to understand that side of it. And when you get to know a person so thoroughly and he says something, you sort of turn around and smile like he does.
Yes, I remember that little grin.
Yep, that little smile. I was just saying to somebody the other day, can you believe it? 22 years. We've been without him physically, but mentally, that will never go away. It can't. It's embedded in you. I think all the people that train under him have that same impression. And what you got from Sensei stays with you. Because he never forced it on you. He gave it to you to accept or reject. And if you accepted it, the Shintani world was wide open to you. So that's a story I can tell you. Is there anything you want to ask me regarding Sensei?
Well, okay. I'm just thinking a lot of the questions are going to be redundant based on listening to you right now. But what I do want to ask you is what other styles of martial arts have you studied?
What other styles other than karate?
I did a bit of Goju. I got my knee down in Goju. The guy that was the head of Goju in Europe, Sensei Leo Lipinski, he's died since. We were good friends in South Africa. So when I wasn't doing my own thing, I was studying with him. I got a knee down in Goju.
Okay.
And I brought Sensei Leo over here to do a demo for a week. Actually, I enjoyed his visit more than the demo.
Sure.
Because he just amazed people with his technique. But that's the only other style I dabbled in. I've met a lot of other people in other styles. I've met other people say they are Wado. Well, question mark, when you see them perform, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you get so engrossed into the system, Sensei's way of doing things. When you see something else, you sort of look and you say, yes, no. You became very analytical. I used to see things written on back of T-shirts, and you'd read it and say, really? You believe that? I want to tap the guy on the shirt. You believe what's written on your back? One guy had on his T-shirt, I'll never forget, it says, respect all and fear nothing. Wow. Really? You see, people have a different philosophy about respect and respectful. Respect is earned. Respectful is yourself towards others. So people say, oh, you got no respect. I say, you got to earn that. But I will be respectful to you. I will not do anything that upsets you or disturbs you.
That's fair.
You know, so that was my understanding of being respectful and having respect. I don't know. There's a few people that I earned, not that it much counts, but earned my respect. Because they've earned it. Respect is not given. You got to earn respect. That's the way I look at it, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, we've all had our turmoils in life. You try to get over them. You fade away from things for a while. And the stronger thing always pulls you back. So I ended up back. It's just on my regrets why I didn't get back to Sensei earlier. I could have had the old YMCA for 25 years running under the auto system. So, Sensei system, not just mine.
Right.
But being well taught by him, I think everything turned out fine. Students come, students fade away, some, whatever. You know this, you know, Bruce.
Yeah.
You come and go, dedicated ones stay with you forever. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And I think about Sensei regularly. People say, well, why do you do that? I say, because it was part of my life. How can you not remember somebody that's so embedded in your life, your lifestyle?
So that begs the question, what was your first encounter of Sensei Shintani?
I went to Grimsby, 1966, around there. I wanted to do karate because the guy told me there's a Japanese guy that teaches. Well, this was one of, I don't know, one of the guys I knew I worked with. He says, there's a Japanese guy who teaches karate in Grimsby. I said, is there? He says, yeah. So off I went to Grimsby, walked in the club. I said, I want to join the club. And he said, sure, okay. No other words. So much a month? It was nothing.
Yeah.
Grimsby Arena upstairs. That's where I met some of the older guys, some of the old people. Names we won't go through. But my first impression when I saw Sensei move, I said, I come to the right place. I do that. Because I used to punch, you know, big. I used to be weightlifting, my arms like this. So my punching was terrible. Everything was terrible. But Sensei had that way of knowing if you had it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I remained there till my day when I went back to.
What was your first impression of him?
Actually, when when I first walked in, just another karate club. I want to learn karate. It was all about me. I wanted to do something. The club was just a bunch of guys in white suits, and this little Japanese skinny guy over there was the teacher. When I wanted to join, he said, "Sure, you're welcome." Told me how much, I forget what it was. What did he charge me?
Probably $5 a month or something.
Probably 5. Well, anyway, it was
Yeah.
So I joined the club, and that was it. I used to have to move 3 or 4 times a night because there was big sweat puddles by my feet. You knew how to work. You stand hand facing each other, blocking, physical contact blocking. Oh boy. Okay, line up 2 lines. We're gonna block. Oh, so everybody go, oh no. Off, off. But no, there was no outstanding features that where I would say, wow. He was just another little Japanese guy teaching martial arts.
Yeah.
But that changed. You know, once he talks to you and gets you going, I didn't realize his strategies in the beginning and not till later, because he was very clever at strategy. I'm sure some of you experienced that. You knew you had something, he was going to get it from you.
What was your favorite memory? Is there one? Probably lots. But what sticks right out?
We went to the rickshaw.
Okay.
Dinner.
Yeah.
Which Sensei and I did very frequently. Harry used to run the place. So Sensei goes up to the counter where all the food is,
Okay.
plate of crab, he takes the whole plate to the table. Harry comes over and says, Baz, because everyone called him Baz. You can't do that. He's, why not? I'm going to go walk back and forth just to pick up all the crab. So Harry just went and I got another plate full.
Let him go.
It sticks out in my mind forever.
Yeah. How did Sensei make you feel as a person? How did he make you feel?
I never felt intimidated by him. I always had a way of making you feel at ease, but he never expressed on you that everything is going to be okay. He expected you to get that, you to work at it, so it became okay, which happened. That's who Sensei was to me in the beginning. Never said much, run a hard class, but when he sees something, he recognizes it, and he, without projecting it, he concentrated on you in different ways to develop what he saw. You don't come to realize that till later in your life in martial arts. Then I looked at it later, I said, yeah, I see the guy's strategies. He's pretty cool.
I think that answers our next question, Sensei Bruce. So let's jump one.
Yeah. What inspired you most about Hansi Shintani? Is there anything that stuck out that inspired you to get better, be better?
He never gave up. He was very persistent. As you remember, as you can probably recollect, if he recognized something in your ability, he never stopped. He worked on you and he worked on you, whether it was with words or physical, he never let go. Because his aim was to achieve what he saw. That's the only way I can express it. And in me, I think he did that because he developed a lot of stuff in me, not only martial arts, way of life, how to be to people, what kind of person to be. There's so many different things. You know, it's not hard to say that there are many aspects about Sensei that by students will never be forgotten. You can't forget it because they're so embedded in you, they become part of you. Whether it was an expression or something he showed you, it never leaves you. That's the kind of man he was. He wasn't forceful. He wasn't overbearing. He never forced himself on you. He just knew a way how to get the best out of you and to teach you the best way to develop. That's a great point. Unfortunately, a lot of instructors or teachers don't have to be able to get the best out of a student, to see what he's got and work at that. Some of you guys worked with Sensei, you probably saw that. If he had something, he's going to work on it until you show him, yeah, he's got it. You know, and he's not shy in telling you, yep, you're good, you got it.
Well,
As he walked away.
That's the point. As he turned around,
Yeah.
you could see it through the back of his head. Everything's good.
feel about it.
No,
No, never.
no, nothing was a big deal.
Yeah.
For a moment that made you say wow or aha, like a paradigm moment.
Yes,
Very good.
we had our sparring session in Grimsby. And Sensei says, okay, break. And Sensei, Lou Bell, come work with me. Oh, we working on. And he was in punching distance to me, and he put a kick right there. Oh, and wow. What was that? What was that? What do you mean? He says, I can kick you from punching distance. Easy. Oh, good. Oh, Sensei, thank you very much. I'll never forget that because it was so precise, controlled, close range. I thought, how did he ever do that? You ever seen it?
Oh yes, he was. He was very, very
So we've all
flexible.
experienced that little short, toes up kick to the head.
Most people only saw Sensei with a gi on or a shirt on,
That's it.
but he was so flexible and so defined. It was unbelievable.
When I walked into the change room, Sensei was changing, because usually he was a very private person.
Mhm.
He liked to change by himself, keep his ailments to himself. I said, oh, sorry, Sensei. He says, that's okay, said Lou. You see him and you look at that body and you go, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Never to forget.
Yeah.
Hey, people, have you seen that poster of Bruce Lee with all the ripples?
Yeah.
It's Sensei.
Yeah. Is there a favorite technique that Hanshi Shintani showed you, something you still teach today?
Yes, which I don't see too much of. It's unfortunate, but it's supposed to be on video many times, right? Sensei's techniques.
Yes.
The favorite was blocking a kick and striking it with your. So I used to be a bad guy. I used to block the kick and hit the muscle with this, and guys would limp away. I'll say, what was that? I said, well, just blocking your kick. Yeah, but you blocked it and it crippled me. That was my favorite. Front kick block at the back of the muscle of the leg.
Yeah.
We did all the other blocks. And block on block, I'll forget about those ones. It was torture.
Yeah. But What is the one thing that you think Hanshi Shintani should be remembered for?
With the five most important.
You can give us two, and then we can decide on our own.
I think one of them is his ability to see you for what you are. If you had it or you didn't have it. And when you do get it yourself, you say you're fortunate to get it because Sensei taught me something very important. You never relate to a student of his ability not to do things.
Right.
He showed me, while he taught me how, I learned from him the ability to detect the haves and the have-nots. And I think it's very important because not that you concentrate more on people that have that ability and the people that don't. They're all there to learn something, whatever it might be. And I think that ability that he taught me that I picked up and learned was the prime thing in my martial arts life. Your ability to see things, recognize things, be truthful, don't fabricate about stuff, keep it easy and simple, never get complicated. Because he wasn't a complicated person. Period. And that's the most important thing about him. His lack of complications.
Good.
What
Absolutely.
would you like? Sorry?
No,
So what you've touched on a lot of things here, that personal experiences that you've had with Sensei and relating to stuff, that other senior belts have had with Sensei. What would you like to say to the students out there that have never had the opportunity to meet Sensei? What would you like to say to them about Sensei?
I had a couple of things, but one was keep it simple, don't get complicated. The other thing is always be truthful to yourself. Don't lie to yourself and think you're capable of things that you're not. You'll find out that the hard way if you do. And his favorite thing that he says, try to remember, always be truthful. That covers the whole spectrum. If a sensei asks you something, don't give him a big fabrication. Just tell him. If you have a good sensei, he will understand. But don't try and butter it up or say, well, this and well. Just tell him straight out. If your sensei asks you, is there a problem? Is something bothering you? If it's not personal, everything is not personal enough, tell him. Because if you have respect for your sensei, he will guide you correctly on that problem. That's the trouble with people that don't have enough trust in other people's ability to help you. There's a lot of guys in the water system and otherwise it can help you along many difficult ways to get through difficult times. Don't complicate things. Keep it simple.
you describe Hanshi Shintani in one sentence. That's the hardest question of the whole interview.
There's a lot of words. You could pick like one.
Yes.
Almost complete. That's 2 words.
Almost complete.
Sensei.
Yes.
You can use more than 2 words. It's one sentence, not one word. One sentence. Can you describe Hanshi Shintani in one sentence?
Complete.
Complete. Very good. Very good. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Hanshi Shintani? Anything that we haven't touched on? Anything that you would personal experiences or anything that you'd like to talk about that?
Anything we haven't covered?
Well, the questions are very good. They're well, it covers everything in general and plus. That pretty well explains who he was, what he was, and how he was. Well, some of us are more fortunate than others. We have a closer relationship with him. Some of the kids never got to know him, only hear about him. There's a few like yourself, Bruce and Neil and myself, knew Sensei as a person and as a teacher. Sensei wasn't an instructor. He was a teacher supreme. That's the difference between an instructor and a teacher. I don't know if anybody else understands that.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's two words too. Teacher supreme. He never missed anything, because no matter what you covered, if he had no answer, he remained quiet. If he had an answer, it was very short. He never dragged things out, made a big deal out of them. Only time if you make him mad or something, well, you're in for trouble. In a very quick way. I remember one more thing. I was getting graded to my needle. And I fought a certain person, no names mentioned. This person threw an amazing Mawashi Gary, hit me in the head. Such a shot, made my nose bleed, cut my lip. It was a headshot. I was on the floor, spitting out all sorts of stuff. Sensei bends over, you okay? I said, who's Sensei? Okay, back on the line. Schmidt! That guy quaked every time I faced him for the rest of his life. Because of that one moment. He gave me one hell of a shot to the head. And Sensei, all he said is, you okay? That's my Sensei asking. Yes, Sensei.
Back on the horse.
Back on the horse.
Yeah.
Oh, we've covered a lot of ground.
Unfortunately, there's so much to talk about with Sensei.
Oh, no, that's why we're here.
Yep.
That's why we're here. Any closing comments?
It's a whole life experience.
For sure.
It doesn't become your second life, it's your first life. Once you get hooked up with Sensei and you live the life of martial arts and karate chi, chikara chi, blood and power, what else? Well, he proved it with chi kata, you call it now, power kata island. Demonstrations. Sensei Lou, take your shirt off, doing a demo. Off comes the shirt, you're going to do. Then it was power kata. Do power kata, bring out a pile of 2x1s.
Bang, bang, bang.
All he left was welts on me because I do power kata, he breaks stuff over my back, my legs, my arms. Come off there and I was full of red spots, red marks. He'd look at me and say, yeah, looks good.
You're not allowed to do that anymore, are we?
No, that's all gone. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, he made a man and a person out of you. You accepted it or you gave it up. Mostly a lot of people gave it up. A lot of people like you guys stuck with the program. And all you can do is benefit. Never lose. Especially what this guy's been through.
Yeah.
Are you all healed up now, Bruce?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
Yeah, my the last surgery I had on my right knee's been a little slower than I would like, but it's, you know what?
Getting it.
I'm getting there.
I'm getting to the age now where I got to keep going to the left because I go to the right all of a sudden. My balance is all messed up through his ears.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think my hands have changed any. My legs have changed a lot. My mind is always active as far as karate goes. Never stops, even though you're not actively involved. I can lay in bed and dream. I'm going to shake myself. Wake up.
Would you tell people how old you are? Can we say that?
You can tell them.
Well,
I'll tell them whether you're telling the truth.
29.
Sensei Lou is over 80, and it was just a short couple months ago that he was still working out at the St. Catherine's Dojo.
When it opens October, I hope to be back.
And he's coming back in September.
Some days I want to just sit and watch. Some days I get on the.
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
Awesome.
But there's something I want to teach.
Yeah.
Which I will for Sensei Neil one day.
Yeah.
It's something I picked up from Ashley Taisabaki, double blocks. It's a whole conglomeration of the whole thing on personal self-defense. It's got nothing to do with fighting. It's about attack and hurt. Defend and hurt. That's all. You want to attack me, you're going to suffer for it. And as long as you're wise about it, nobody should ever be able to touch you. So it's a whole program. It's a whole system, which I think I'm related to Brad.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to relate it because there definitely is a way that Sensei taught me. Because everything Sensei did was to the side. He never faced opponent and blocked direct on. He's looking for trouble. Shift, lock and shift, double blocks. I love it when these guys doing the videos and watching see all this stuff. Hey, man, that stuff is so good.
I just want to mention before we finish that Sensei Lou has a little booklet that he's put together, and it's in the final stages of editing. And
James has got it.
yes, James has got it. And well, we're going to start putting snippets of that in our harmonizer, and we are going to be putting it up on our website. So that's going to be some nice reading for everybody.
I need the people that read it to agree or have questions if possible. This is my thoughts.
Right.
Through Sensei's teaching, it's my thoughts on self-preservation. What I think about the world of what you receive from the martial art world. Do you believe it all? Do you take it all? Some of you say, yeah, I heard that story.
Right.
I went to Japan, How did you get there? Well, I got this T-shirt, a belt. And then I say, what did you get there? And they get the point and they say, well, nothing.
This has been a great interview.
It has been, and I read your book. I read it, by the
Great
way.
to see you again, Bruce.
Yes.
It's been
Thank
a
you.
while since with this COVID and all.
Yeah, well, hopefully it won't be as long next time in between visits, but
But Brad can, he always, hey, since I haven't talked to you for a long time, how's things? So he says, you want to go down to the club in St. Catherine's, Ryan's club? Sure, I'll take the trip. Took my bag with me. Bag stayed in the corner, and I looked at the tile floor. That would kill my feet. Don't have those hard feet anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, but you and I, Bruce, we've spoken about Sensei lots.
Yes, it's and you've rekindled a lot of memories.
Yeah, it sure does. It's people have got to know who he was, what he stood for. And they don't get to understand him.
Right.
Because personally, if you knew him for a short while, you never understand.
That's our challenge, is to try to get that out to the new students, the students that have never had the opportunity to meet him.
Well, there's a common message in all the interviews. If people listen, they'll pick up on it.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your time, Sensei. That was
It's a pleasure. I always
awesome.
like talking about Sensei.
Yes, and from my perspective, thank you very much for your time. It's much appreciated.
Thanks for the time, Bruce. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
I'm hoping so.
Yep. Things come right.
Okay.
Ciao.